Jane's Addiction is in the news today because the whole band is just suing each other. This whole thing is really embarrassing and kind of staining their legacy. Like, what the fuck is this? Ladies, gentlemen, theys and thems, welcome back to the Vizzy Plus channel. And today we got a juicer for you, okay? A blast to the past, if you will. Along with a huge update to this story, including reading some pieces of a 30-page complaint from vocalist Farrell towards the band. So this all started almost a year ago, and let me just show you what went down. Jesus Christ, dude. Somebody grabbed their fucking grandpa. As you just saw, Perry, the vocalist of the band, just started yelling in Dave's face mid-solo. And like a dog behind a fence that's barking but actually doesn't do shit, he gets in Dave's face and he starts showing his teeth like, don't come any closer, I'ma bite ya, I'ma bite ya. You better not get too close. Oh, what's that? You're close? Well, you better not defend yourself from this grandpa shove I'm about to give you, or else I'm gonna bite you. And I find it hilarious how this happens every time an altercation occurs. Okay, you got one big tough guy that he gets in your face and has the opportunity to attack you or do something about it, but doesn't until you get a horde of people or somebody holding them back. Then all of a sudden, things change. Oh, I would kill you right now if I didn't have this group of people holding me back. If I didn't have this one guy holding me back, I would rip your eyes out with spoons. But anyway, why did this happen? What's the updates? Vizzy, shut the fuck up and just read the things. So what started everything was you joining the Discord. Okay, link in description. Gotcha. It's filled with people like you and I that are into cool music and gaming, so go join us. But what happened next was apparently there was tension on stage because during this tour, the band was bullying Perry. They were bullying him because he was drowned out by every other instrument on stage. So he just exploded because on top of the frustration over like the ear monitor things, which we'll get more in detail in a second. On top of that, he also had like a sore throat and like tinnitus or some shit. So out of frustration, he decided to shove Dave, but not like a actual shove. More like, you know when you get in a fight in a dream and everything's just so slow and soft. It was kind of like that. But I did find this clip from earlier in that show. There's no volume on this one, I'm pretty sure, because like copyright or whatever. But here, this is earlier in that show. Dave is like playing and apparently Perry is singing the wrong part of the song or something. So to combat the rest of the song fucking up, what Dave decides to do is just go up to Perry and he's like, hey, where is it? He signals him like, hey man, about to do a guitar solo. And then Dave continues to do the solo. And this is so funny. Perry's just so sad. He's like visibly upset at Dave. Now, like I said, some of the comments, there's no audio, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. But some of the comments are claiming that, yeah, like Perry was kind of ruining the song. So Dave is like, hey, just so you know, guitar solo coming up. So you should know where we're at in the song now. He just gave him this heads up so Perry doesn't continue to fuck up. But I'm not entirely sure, and I think it's worth mentioning that Perry allegedly drank an entire bottle of wine before the set. His wife does claim that he didn't, but I don't know. There's people like saying that you can see the wine bottles on stage. So as a result to this altercation, they scrapped an upcoming album. They stopped the tour like mid-run. And then Dave mentions there's a 0% chance that the OG lineup will ever come together and play a show again. That apparently more shit went down after this set, like behind the scenes, literally like backstage, some more shit went down, which we'll get to in a second. Now, fast forward to a few days ago, per The Guardian, the band, okay, so the band is suing Perry, and then Perry's like, you know what? I'm suing you. And this is a pretty fat lawsuit, okay? $10 million. We're talking about 10 million buckaroos. Members of Jane Addiction have sued the alt-rock band's lead singer, Perry Farrell, after an on-stage altercation last fall that they claim derailed their North American tour and forthcoming album. Dave Navarro, Eric Avery, and Stephen Perkins are seeking $10 million from the 66-year-old singer. Guitarist Navarro is also suing Farrell for assault and battery for the onstage altercation at a Boston gig in September of last year. Footage from the concert showed Farrell punching and shoving Navarro before he was restrained by crew members. He was then escorted off the stage. And hate to break it to you, to whoever wrote this on The Guardian, there's no punching involved from Perry's end, okay? No, he did not punch anyone, but he did get punched supposedly in the kidney, which I'm sure you missed because I missed it the first few watches as well. But again, we're going to touch on that later. And then this is when we get the plot twist. Hours after the band's lawsuit was filed, however, Farrell responded with a legal complaint of his own, with Variety reporting he had filed a 30-page complaint accusing his bandmates of years of bullying and harassment. In the band's complaint, members reportedly alleged that Perry's repeated and unprovoked attack on Navarro was especially painful because Perry knew that Navarro was still weak and suffering from the effects of a long COVID-19. The attack allegedly continued backstage, where Farrell threw another unexpected punch at Navarro, striking him on the left side of the face. Keep in mind, the band said this. So shit's not looking too hot for Jane's Addiction, and this can be a stretch, but I know Dave likes to stay zen. All right, that motherfucker, he actively works on like stress management, and he really prioritizes his mental health. Perry, knowing that, since they've known each other since the beginning of time, pretty much, because these motherfuckers are old, bro. I'm sure that kind of struck a mental nerve for Dave, because imagine you work so hard to never be stressed, to then get put in the most stressful environment you could possibly imagine. On stage, mid-solo, physical altercation in front of thousands of people. I just spit everywhere. Knowing this is going to impact your legendary band's legacy, like, holy shit. As for that 30-page complaint, guess what? It is available for me to read, for you to read, and everyone else who wants to read that shit. And here it is, baby. We are about to give me the slop. Now, am I going to read this entire thing? Fuck no. You can read it your damn self. I am not going to put you through the torture that is me reading, all right? I can't read for shit. You know how many takes it took for me to just read that article from The Guardian? This channel is meant to be minimalistic effort, and this video so far is not that, all right? I'm just supposed to be in front of the camera, yapping my dick away, not doing this CoffeeZilla investigation bullshit. With that being said, I did skim through it, okay? I didn't fully deep dive, like word for word read it, but I did skim through it, and here's some highlights that I found that I have to share with you. Now, the main thing here is Perry, he doesn't think he was the aggressor, apparently, okay? In fact, he believes he is a victim to the entire thing. He says that the band purposefully harasses him on stage. And the way they do this is by purposefully putting their instruments at a high volume so that he can't hear himself sing without blasting his own in-ear monitors at an unsafe level. Now, if this was done on purpose, it's fucked up, all right? This guy, he's 66, and he's been in this loud environment pretty much since Jesus was born, and being in these loud environments will take a toll on your elderly ears. But I'm sure if it was an actual issue, he could have brought it up to the band, like, yo, fellas, I hate to be the party pooper, but your shit is loud, okay? I got old man ears. Can you just tone it down a bit? And I'm sure any decent human would have said, hey man, of course, all right? You're about to kick the bucket soon. We don't want to make it worse for you. But you and I have no idea what the band talks about, okay? He could have brought it up. Maybe he did bring it up. He said, guys, my ears, blah, blah, blah. And they probably spit in his fucking eye. They probably said, fuck your ears. We actually have no idea. Now, he mentions a few days after the whole altercation, in a cynical effort to put a spin on a favorable narrative about what had actually happened, Navarro, Avery, and Perkins published malicious, defamatory public statements about Farrell on his social media, blaming the cancellation of the tour on Farrell, falsely saying that he has mental health difficulties, among other falsehoods, which lies have led to significant reputational harm to Farrell. After reading this, it's pretty obvious that he's trying to really push this narrative that he's just being bullied. Because his wife is saying it wasn't him being drunk. He's saying it wasn't mental health. So what else was it? Of course, it was the whole band. being bullies to him is what he expects us to believe. He really expects us to believe that 3 grown men are bullying one other grown-ass man. Yeah, of course it's 3 dudes bullying you and not you actually being in the wrong, but your ego is just so fucking inflated and in the way you just can't take accountability. Now, this document is hilariously biased, okay? Obviously, right? This is supposed to be in defense of Farrell, but let's go ahead and read his defense for the altercation. The video evidence is clear that the first altercation on stage during the Boston show, it was hardly one-sided, and in fact, what followed was inappropriate, violent escalation by Navarro and Avery that was disproportionate to Farrell's minor body check of Navarro. Like I said, it is obviously biased because he's trying to defend his ass. He don't want to get cooked, but it's not all that wrong, okay? That's why I'm calling it an altercation and not like a physical attack. It wasn't a fucking assault. He just kind of like, shoved him and then tried to intimidate him. But saying it's hardly one-sided is just so unbelievably dishonest. As if we don't have the footage. Like, brother, are we watching the same fucking video? What do you mean hardly one-sided? When you were in Dave's grill, like you were probably able to smell his fucking breath, Dave is like confused. He's like, what are you doing, dog? What do you mean hardly one-sided? I think he expects the court to watch the video blindfolded, or maybe he thinks he's on an episode of BoJack Horseman, and the court is gonna be filled with like, what are those moles with the fucking star nose that are blind and shit? Why, yes, I do think you're right, Perry. I am blind and cannot watch the video, but who's that? I smell it. I think it was hardly one-sided. After Farrell body checked him because of his deliberately excessive playing volume, Navarro reacted by aggressively placing his forearm and elbow into Farrell's neck. Yeah, it definitely wasn't him trying to defend himself or like guard his body, sure. In response to which Farrell used his right arm to push Navarro's elbow and arm off his throat. Then when Farrell and Navarro were being separated by Navarro's guitar tech, Dan Cleary also restrained Farrell's arms, giving Avery an opportunity to put Farrell in a headlock and begin punching him repeatedly in the kidneys and stomach, while Farrell was unable to defend himself. After reading that, you're probably wondering if we watched the same video, and we did. Like I said, it took me a few watches to actually see this, but go ahead and see for yourself. Before anything, I want to show you Dave aggressively putting his elbow in Farrell's throat. That was so aggressive, Dave. How could you? But here's when they start getting separated, and like I said, I missed it the first time, but you could actually see like he is getting a few body shots there. It looks like 4 to 5 body shots getting taken. Now, based off this footage, we can't tell how hard he's hitting him, but we can tell, yeah, he is getting like do. And there is absolutely no defending that. All right, your job isn't to attack Farrell. Your job is to separate them. You attacking him does no good at all. But what I will say is, if you're acting aggressive and threatening one of the bandmates, do you expect them to go soft on you when you started this whole thing? Now we're going to talk about his side of the story when it came to Backstage. I'm sure you remember, but the band claimed that he sucker punched Dave. And if you don't know what a sucker punch is, it's basically like when you sneak up on somebody, they're not paying attention, you just pop them. Now keep in mind, this is he said, she said dog shit because there's no footage. Apparently, as you're going to see at the end of this little paragraph, there's audio recording, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Subsequently, Farrell left the stage, followed by Navarro, and a second altercation then occurred backstage, which Navarro now falsely claims included Farrell hitting Navarro with a sucker punch. What actually happened was that it was Navarro who menacingly charged at and aggressively assaulted both Farrell and his wife backstage, shouting, "What the fuck was that, you motherfucker?" Farrell took a defensive stance and shouted, "Get the fuck out of here," to which Navarro replied, "I am never working with you again." Audio tape and witness accounts of this altercation make clear that although Farrell warned Navarro repeatedly to stop his assault, Navarro disregarded these warnings and commenced to scuffle with Farrell, and Farrell had no choice but to defend both himself and his wife. He claims that Dave immediately charged at him and his wife. Why would Dave attack his wife? I'm not sure how accurate this is, okay? My gut, my big, fat, disgusting, obese, all right, not obese, I'm overweight. What? It's saying he's full of shit. He's painting Dave to be this monster, but the thing is, if the band was there, Why would they not stop Dave from attacking him and his wife? I don't know, but apparently Perry feels blindsided. He hates how everything ended so abruptly, and I'm not sure how he'd be surprised by this. He has this weird paranoia thing going on. He thinks the band like plotted against him. Like, oh yeah, this was all a part of their plan to get the band broken up. Which is kind of like, yeah, sure, the band planned for you to be aggressive towards Dave during the Boston show. Sure, it was all according to plan. Anyway, what do you guys think about this whole thing? Let me know. Sorry, I'm not an investigator, but hopefully I read enough to keep your tummies filled with the slop I'm trying to provide for you. Like, sub, and click right here because yesterday we yapped about the whole My Chemical Romance doing this demonic election thing during their set. Pretty crazy.